All right, guys. So here we are, first video of the channel. Blah. So guys, what's up, guys? What's up, guys? How to learn BJJ 1,000 times faster. So straight to the point, guys. What am I talking about? How can you learn BJJ faster than you have ever been taught, faster than you have probably been doing uh, the initial first, second, third years of BJJ? Some people, they were told what I'm about to tell you. Some people, they're fortunate and they will realize that the sooner the better. Some people, they will never learn that. So years and years and years dedicated to it, and maybe at a later stage on their journey they will realize. And some other people, they don't realize and they leave the sport because it becomes harder and harder, really difficult to keep up and to really take off. So what is it? What is the game changer? So if you have made until here, it means you already practice jiu-jitsu probably. So you are registered to a gym, you're training depending on your different goals. If you want to be an athlete, if you want to live from BJJ, if you want to just do it as a sport activity, that will define the number of training sessions you will do per week, right? So, but let's assume you are a regular guy, you just want to do some sport activities, you want to practice some martial arts, and you found out about jiu-jitsu. So you have 2, 3, 4 training sessions a week. If you're doing 4, you're already doing good, right? You can be doing every day. If you're doing like more than once a day, you are already towards some more professional aspects of the game, right? So, but let's say you're doing 3 to 4 times a week, that would be a good average. First year, second year, maybe a blue belt, maybe a purple, who knows it. So what's the standard protocol of a normal BJJ class? You're gonna start with some warm-ups, and then you're gonna do some stretching, and then you learn techniques from your professor, from your coach, and after that you are supposed to do some sparring. Some gyms, they don't even do sparring after, or people are not allowed to do sparring, right? That's the main point here, guys, is the sparring time. How to take advantage of the sparring time to maximize your experience, to maximize the learn that you will take from this role, from this 5 minute sparring with your partners. The techniques that you learn from your professor that has been already chewed up and spit on a dish for you to just suck with a straw. It's there. They break that down to you. You just need to practice, right? You practice that. It's not that easy, right? It requires some mobility, it requires some coordination. You will get there eventually, but that's the easiest part. The hard part is now how you gonna coordinate and how you're gonna take advantage of the sparring. Let me expand on it a little bit. You already know jiu-jitsu is about submission. You're trying to choke your opponent, or you're trying to make him tap out, either by choke or by any kind of leverage, working against the joints. In short, what does that mean, right? You wanna finish your opponent. And by finishing your opponent, we're talking about breaking bones, breaking limbs, putting people to sleep, right? So your brain understands that as a life-threatening situation. So that's also a beauty of this sport, right? When you're there, you're there. Someone's trying to kill you properly, right? So your body reacts as a survival instinct. So you're gonna use all your strength. You're gonna use all your cardio, all your everything that you got not to die, right? So for the guy starting jiu-jitsu today, that's the kind of understanding. If you already use it to the sport a little bit, you have been practicing, there is a second aspect of the game, the rolling section, which is pride, right? So we are there because we want to learn how to defend ourselves. We want to learn the magic of the sport. It's a beautiful sport, but you wanna be the killer, right? You don't wanna be the prey. That's that's also something which is like in the underlining of the fight. That's what we're trying to do. You want to submit your opponent, make him give up, tap out, because if he doesn't, we can take limbs home. We can put him to sleep. So now you have to be able to deal with this feeling, with this sensation. And now is the point, guys. That's the important thing, right? A lot of people, really, a bunch, they spend like half of their BJJ journey seeing the sparring as the main goal, not to tap. So they don't want to tap, right? They feel bad about tapping to people which are smaller than them, or they have started uh, not as they haven't been doing not as long as they have been doing, or if they are sparring with between boys and girls, this pride thing, right? Not wanting to tap. That's what's jeopardizing your learning curve. Why so? Usually when you're like halfway through, you try to win the sparring section, right? You just want to win. And what you do is you eventually get the win, or you don't, but you were so concentrated, you were so focused on this tap or no tap, that you couldn't pay attention on what happened during the sparring. So you missed the sparring, right? Tapping or finishing your opponent, or winning, losing or winning the sparring, you don't remember what happened. So what can you take from that session, for that 5, 7, 8, 10 minutes sparring that you had with your partner, that you have every single Tuesday, that you have 3 times a week, several weeks, months, years, you have been sparring with your colleagues, but you don't learn from it because you're focused on tapping or not tapping. So you go ballistic and you don't even know what's happening. That is the tricky, guys. You gotta be able to reverse the sparring section and remember what happened. How did the guy took you down? How did he pass your guard? How did you recover? How did you finish him? How did he finish you? Right? And once you are able to do that kind of stuff, and think about it, you have a 2-hour section a day, right? So let's say you can compile warm-up, stretching, and technique during 1 hour, and you have another hour just for sparring. So 5 minutes sparring, you might be able to spar 10 times, 50 minutes, right? Depending on the resting between rounds. You have 50 minutes of pure exchange between you and everyone else on the gym, all your partners, they being they better or worse than you, right? You can take advantage of both situations, trying your techniques on the guys you believe they're not so strong or not so technical as you are, and learning from the guys who are more technical or more strong than you. You gotta try your technique, you gotta learn their technique. You are only able to do that if you are able to remember what happened during the fight. And you can only do that if you're not 100% focused on tapping or not tapping. So let me give you an example. When I was a blue purple belt, I had like huge guys on my gym, brown belts. I am now 80 kilos, right? So I used to be like 76. These guys were like 90, 95, also 80. They were heavier than me when I was younger. And they used to submit me, to finish me left and right all the time, right? As it's supposed to be. For whatever reason, that would like mess with me so much that I would go home and I would think about how did they do it. And that's why I know that I was able to figure it out, the sparring time, and I understood. I was one of the fortunate ones that I got that pretty early on my jiu-jitsu time. So I would go home and think about what was the kind of situation, what was the submission, what was the sweep that they used to do with me, and that would eventually bring to the tap. So I would go home and I would think about escapes, techniques I could apply to try to solve this problem when I was back on the gym. So I would suck like 3, 4 times, I would fail until I found a solution. So we could move to the next challenge. And there you go. So you have this exchange, this experience 300 times a day when you're sparring 10 times, 5 minutes with different people. Everyone has its own game, everyone has its own technique. They want to play from the top, they want to play from the bottom. They're passers, they're guard players. And you have all this time to learn from this exchange, to go home and think about it. How did that happen? Can I reverse the tape and see when it started? What was the technique? Do I know that technique? If I don't know the technique, I can ask my partner right away after the training, please don't stop the training, right? Don't do it on the middle of the section. Let the session go. When the round is over, you ask me, man, how did you pass my guard that time? How did you finish me? How did you sweep me? So you're learning, you are constantly evolving, you're constantly speeding up the information that you have, building your wall of defense, like collecting weapons, all from the sparring time, because you now understand that tapping or not tapping, especially on the gym, guys, think about it, these are your partners, they are not your opponents, right? We're gonna do that on the tournaments. That's the time not to tap. So on the gym, we're there to learn. So you have to detach yourself from this idea that you cannot tap, right? Take a day, if you're training three times a week, take 2 days and say, today I don't care if I'll tap or not. I will focus on the fight and try to remember what happened and see if I know these techniques. And if I don't, I will ask my colleagues. So, guys, that's it. That's it. For me, that's, if not the most, maybe one of the most important lessons you can take from your everyday session or your everyday training, is to take advantage of the sparring. You're not going there to spar 1 hour and go home and have no clue about what happened. You just remember who tapped you and who did you tap, but you don't know what happened. So you're losing a precious time there. Guys, I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe, and we see us again soon.